loans confused with deposits when he was trying to reassure.
All right, let's bring in Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth, also known as Hunka Hunka Burn in Love, as Dagan said earlier today.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Hunka Hunka.
Hunka
Welcome
Hunka
to the
Burning
show.
Hegseth.
Okay, in this meeting, Pete, they had a conversation. Justin Trudeau is concerned about all the asylum seekers that have come from Mexico into the U.S. and are now going to Canada. So they struck a deal where Canada's going to send those asylum seekers back to the U.S.
Back to the U.S.?
Yeah, why doesn't Joe Biden do that with Mexico? Send them back to Mexico.
It's a great question. So we have this gigantic problem at our southern border. It feels like an alternate universe, like Bizarro World. Like we know there's a bleeding, gaping wound on the southern border of an invasion, and the only border Joe Biden will visit is the Canadian border and yell about the border crisis out there and talk about fentanyl, how we have to get it under control. I can't wrap my brain around it other than he must be in such a bubble or want what's happening down south that he thinks what he's doing is send signals of seriousness to the world. So he's in Canada cutting deals to help out the Canadians when that's not really our problem. Sure, there's some problems up there, but you've got the southern border. While the world is effectively on fire and about to explode, and when he takes a question about it, it's like, well, yes, we struck the Iranians, and then they struck us and killed an American, and that's too bad, but then we struck them. There's no strategic thinking. No. There's no leadership. And the world's paying attention. I love Brian Brederick said earlier to me off camera. He said, "You know what? In football, when you say it's a free play, it's a free. Yeah, this is right. We're in a free play moment right now. The flag got thrown, but the quarterback dropped back, and if he throws an interception, it doesn't matter because the play's coming back. Our enemies know that, and they're taking advantage of it because we're asleep at the wheel.
But that's why I brought up, and you can blame just a mouth fart for him saying that. And blame his age, blame his age or whatever. But when you are at the beginning of a financial crisis, and they have bailed out rich people in Silicon Valley,
of course,
and he's saying that if another problem develops, we will just do what we already did and make the loans whole. Loans, he literally doesn't, in this exceedingly complicated financial system, does not know the difference between a loan and a deposit.
Well, he doesn't know the difference between China and Canada except when he's thinking. Right. I mean, there's nothing going on there. The radical left captured this guy a long time ago. He's effectively beholden to them. There's an elite class of a uniparty there who are definitely going to bail out their buddies in Silicon Valley, who've had their backs on social media and through political donations for years. So, they'll do that. They're happy to do that. And they'll count on the fact that the media will cover for them. That's what they're hoping.
I just say, you see the press conference, the two of them standing there, Justin and Joe, and it does not exude strength. It just exudes weakness.
As they talk about climate change. I mean, that's the killer of the whole thing.
You're right.
When we're talking to China, we're talking to China about climate change, the world's single biggest emitter building a coal plant like we build McDonald's in this country.
Stealing our technology.
Stealing our technology, cornering the market on on batteries so that it's so unserious that everyone knows now is the time to move against the United States.
Yeah. They're moving against us because, again, we cut our fossil fuel production.
Exactly right.
The world swing producer is now OPEC, and we're funneling money to China.
We're going to turn the page.
Yeah. Okay.
House Republicans passed the Parents' Bill of Rights, giving parents more say in their children's education.
But Democrats, not so into it. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
Extreme MAGA Republicans passed a bill that puts politics over parents and will ban books, censor librarians, and bully children. It's shameful. Rather than actually invest in empowering parents, making sure parents have the opportunity to be engaged and involved in the education of their children, the extreme MAGA Republicans want to jam their right-wing ideology down the throats of students, teachers, and parents throughout America.
Pete, this is what gets me. This bill actually gives parents the authority to know what their kids are being taught. It gives them the authority to know what's in their school libraries. And so if you have a bunch of left-wing parents that want transgenderism and DEI and green science taught, they can push that. They know what's being taught in the schools. But if you don't want that, you want your kids taught reading, math, and science, you can say, hey, I don't want that in my school, and, carve it out.
I didn't realize Hakeem Jeffries was such a talking point machine, set to staccato. It's like the MAGA Republic. Hey, they want to talk about this? Let's have them talk about it all day long. Defend this loser. Defend librarians handing out books about transitioning kids in first grade. Defend that. Defend racist idea. We'll teach history, the warts, the sins, everything. Defend dividing black and white kids at the age of 8.
Yeah.
They can't, and then they also can't defend the failure of government schools, which haven't been teaching kids how to read and write in inner cities or across the country for 50 years. But they're so beholden to the Democrat teachers unions,
That's
who are
right.
their most powerful base, that they have to defend this failed experiment in government-run education, which parents all want to get out of. If they can have school choice, they'll take it. But they have to defend it, so Republicans need to keep going on the offensive with bills like this, with governors and states in school choice, and daring Democrats to defend the status quo. Because it's parents versus perverts right now. It's sanity versus lunacy. And that's, I'll take that battle any day of the week.
You know where I fall on this. Permission to talk about Patrick Henry.
Go, Patrick.
Because, I'm from where I'm a fan. Where he died, where he's buried.
I hope so.
All the outrage from the left about this, and the Republicans could have turned it around and said, you're right. The power over schools falls on the states and localities, local government. Let's get rid of the Department of Education.
I think that's phase two.
And just absolutely gotten rid of it, rather than I object to concentrating more power in the hands of the federal government with this parents' rights bill. But you have reason.
I do. I think
behind it.
right now you have to fight fire with fire because this is a federal problem. They've federalized education at every single level. But that should be a centerpiece of the 2024 conversation the Republican presidential candidate leads with. We scrap this whole thing, get rid of the Department of Education, defund the teachers' unions, and put the power back in the hands of parents at the free market at the local level to provide quality education.
I'm sorry, Dagan, Pete's right, because if we're going to defund the Department of Education, they're going to go MAGA extremism, and they can maybe win on that. But Pete wins when you say, listen, we're going to give power back to parents. That's a winning political issue. You're going to win all day long. Even Democrats are going to come over and go, you know what, I'm with Pete.
Just a reminder, Patrick Henry feared too much power in the hands of the federal government, was not for the Constitution, and gave all of us a Bill of Rights to ensure we had individual freedom. So
they shredded it.
They scrapped that a long time ago.
Janet Yellen had one heck of a week. Listen to her hot take on the IRS, Pete.
Your testimony that you think it's because of resource starvation that the IRS has a alleged reputation amongst taxpayers in this country. Is that your testimony? Is it because they were starved of resources in order to have a better reputation?
People know that if you call the IRS, the phone isn't answered, and it's difficult to do business with the IRS, and that reflects a shortage of resources.
So hence 87,000 new IRS agents, Pete.
We're always X billion dollars away from government utopia.
Perfection.
Pick your department. Pick the Department of Education. Pick the DMV. Pick the IRS. The government will deliver once we just give them a little bit more.
It's because you can't get them on the phone. That's why people fear the IRS. It's not because they actually have a police force within the IRS that they come and peek in your garage to see what kind of car you're driving. It's not that they will freeze your bank account and send you to the Hooskow.
Or that they'll target you because of your political positions, which we've seen before. This is, she is of that generation that needs to go.
Re-education.
It's because they want
re-education for...
Well, it's just a static view of what the role of government ought be and how it works. And you know what people are worried about being stolen from them? Their time when you call the IRS. Oh, this is going to take me 3 weeks. Do I need a fax machine to get this filing done? Because it says I could fax it in.
By the way, I announced my run for Congress. I got an audit like 3 weeks later.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
I believe that.
Yeah. All right, Team Biden rolled out something new today. You can now text Joe at 302-404-0880. So, Pete.
Wow. We can text Joe directly?
Yeah, what are you going to text Joe?
What day is it? Go.
Jesse Waters does this, right? So Joe must watch Jesse Waters and go, hey, I'll do the same thing, right? Text me.
And
What are
he's
you thinking?
seen Jesse's ratings go up.
Right.
And he says, my ratings are really bad. So maybe if you text me, that'll help.
I mean, he's at 38%.
That's pretty good. Do you know I once gave out my cell phone number live on the air accidentally?
I heard.
I did.
And I heard you never changed your cell phone number.
I didn't. I thought we were in a commercial break, and I was sharing my number with somebody else, and it all went out over the air. And I
Had to
decided
change it?
No, I kept it. Just all the text kind of faded away.
It's too hard
over
to
time.
change.
I think
It's too hard.
I think people would text Joe some photos.
Some hunter photos?
No, just some. I mean, my mind's just going wild.
Maybe you could text pictures that you guys put out on Fox and Friends weekend in the morning when you play the national anthem. Great American flag family pictures, which are awesome.
Okay.
You'll be up bright and early. That'd be fantastic. So you want to do that?
He's not up
Take a
that early,
screenshot?
though.
But he would
Well,
text
he's not up that early, so
Yeah.
this would help him. He would
Yeah,
catch it. He never sees it.
That would. That's right.
I like it.
Pete Hegseth,
Thank you,
Hunka
guys.
Burning Love. Thanks for stopping by and seeing
Go
us.
Tigers.
Go Tigers tonight, indeed.
That might have been bad luck because I said that about UCLA
In
and
the
they
Sweet
lost.
16, it'll be their shining
they
moment
lost.
tonight.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.